Hi YouTube, this is Tinka. I'm doing this video because I eventually want to share it on the Facebook because I get a lot of the same questions over and over. So I'm just probably going to name this frequently asked questions of a homeschool mom. Okay. Not to offend anybody, but I think I get questions that maybe a mom that is not black would not get. Like, for instance, the first one is, what do you get for doing it? People think I must get some sort of check, or I'm getting discounts, or books are given to me, or I get a tax break, or I get some kind of supplement for food and materials and all of these things. I have a white friend that lives very close to me. I live in a very urban area because my area is going through gentrification. We have more of a mixture, and the mixture isn't that great. It's more so white and black. So there's a lot of tension. But what has come since this has begun was a lot of extra hostility, and the people who were supposedly here first feel like it's an intrusion and that they're going to take their houses away and all these sort of things. So anyway, her and I became friends at the library because we both homeschool. And so I've traveled with her, both of us with our kids, and the reaction she gets when people realize she's homeschooling and I can be standing right there with my kids doing the same exact thing is completely different. It's really odd. I think one or two times her and I even discussed it. But she is a good friend, a good homeschool mom, and her and I get along very, very well. And we rely on each other because we're really both in the same boat. So that's one thing. So to that question, I just want people to know that no, I don't get anything for that. As a matter of fact, doing this is a sacrifice to our household because otherwise it would be two incomes. So number two, people bring up the socialization question. I was socialized because obviously, I wasn't homeschooled, and I still get a chance to see my kids interacting with kids who are in regular schools, and it's like apples and oranges. I don't know if it's just a different something is different in their home, or it's just the fact that they're in school and allowed to express themselves differently. But that kind of socialization, the kind of way that they express themselves to adults and carry themselves, I do not want to have to undo that with my children. Another reason people think that I might homeschool is because of religious reasons. I think that a lot of people do. No, I don't have any particular religious reason for doing it. So no, that's not it either. Bullying. Bullying is going to be something that we hadn't really experienced really bad, but there was some. But that wasn't the reason either. What I have found is that throughout the time I've homeschooled and I've, taken my kids with me to run errands or do other kind of business during the day, that they have quickly learned how to deal with the world and really with adults. And do things that I think children in school don't necessarily get a chance to see or witness or be involved in, as far as like maybe meal planning, using coupons, banking, things that parents have to do regarding like maybe getting your car maintained, things of that nature that kids would not really even know is going on. Also, just seeing how meals are prepared since if they're here, I'm responsible for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so they're getting that all the time. If kids are in school, maybe from an hour after they wake up until 3 or 4 o'clock, and then possibly there's no parent home because they're at work, and then once the parents get home, there's only a few hours left with the kiddos, and that might be taken up with homework. Then you really don't get to know your child. Everything is very rushed and structured, and a lot of times you don't get a chance to do anything. And then what I find to supplement that, parents will overschedule their children in a bunch of activities, which, they're just saying, oh, well, we do all these things. Once they're at football practice, unless you're the coach and all that other stuff, you're still on the sidelines and someone else is interacting with your child, another adult. So, although I do extracurriculars, I don't see it as like, I just have to get them in this, I have to keep them structured like that. There's so much freedom, yet there's also a lot of restrictions in homeschooling, especially in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So people probably ask me the most, like, do I have a degree in teaching? No, I don't, but I still have a lot of things that I have to do in order to do this. Every year I have to submit an affidavit. Every year I have to submit objectives. Every year I have to have a plan, and every year I have to figure out how I'm going to work that plan, what books I'm going to use, what it is I want to teach. So there's a lot of things that I have to do that they want me to do. But also, there's a lot of freedom, like I said, to add in things that wouldn't ordinarily be added in there. Last year, I didn't really realize it until we got to around April, that I primarily only did African American history from 1750 to the present. I didn't even call it African American history. I just called it history because, we are pervasive in history. So why even give it a different name? So that's what I did. And when I presented this at our evaluation, my evaluator kind of, gave me a sideways look, like, okay. And then I'm sure, after thinking a little bit further, she realized that, there's really no difference. The only thing I've done is incorporated the Black experience into history, and maybe taught some things that wouldn't ordinarily be taught in school. I always say that whomever gets to their mind first wins, which brings me to something that I was reading a lot, not really chiming in on the last couple of weeks, and it's weird how this always comes up around the time when school is about to start, and that is Common Core curriculum. It wasn't until maybe the second or third year that I was homeschooling, I was purchasing my own curriculum, that I even realized anything about Common Core. I heard it, and actually just by the name, it sounded like, oh yeah, we should all be on the same page. Across the country, every child there shouldn't be pockets of where, some kids aren't learning the same things or not up to par with what should be going on nationally and internationally. I thought it sounded great. But once I began to see the curriculum and read about it and see how they are complicating the way math problems are done, and not emphasizing spelling, and not doing a lot of vocabulary, trying to take a lot of things that we learned just from rote memorization, and say, no, we're not going to do it that way, where I still think that there is a place for those things. So when I see curriculum now, what I'm seeing is it will note whether it is Common Core, just it's based on Common Core, or it is aligned with Common Core, which means that it has Common Core, but it still has some additional teachings. That means it's still going to be, under Common Core, but it's not considered Common Core. It just incorporates some of that in there. And then there's some that is just not Common Core at all. I worried about doing straight curriculum that is not Common Core and not even exposing the kids to it will give them a problem when it comes to standardized testing. Because obviously they will gear the standardized tests based on Common Core. And this didn't become more apparent to me until my daughter turned 17 in the middle of her 12th grade year and decided that she wanted to begin just to study for the GED, which meant that, she was going to be finishing a whole lot earlier. And I was okay with it because she's the type of child that's kind of a go-getter, very independent, knows what she wants to do, and she had been working at this time, and so she really liked where she was working and was looking to make more time for work in something that she was interested in. And since she was already planning to go to community college, something that we agreed upon a long time ago because of the way the Pennsylvania system is set up, is that basically it's, she's still in their college system, but cheaper for the first 2 years. I thought it would be a great transition for her. So that's where I stand with Common Core. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I still get a lot of questions about homeschooling. I even see comments sometimes. I was going back over my Connections Academy days during our journey, and I scrolled down and saw a young lady talking about, she's in high school and she's in Connections Academy. I said, well, let me just, watch her video and so on. And she said in her video, and I'm sure she, seemed like she had come to Connections just in high school, for whatever reason, that she felt like regular homeschooling, I guess is the kind that's not on the computer, was not as good. She said, oh, they don't even have the good curriculum and they don't know what they're doing and so on. And so there is also within the homeschool community people who feel, one type of way about online homeschooling, and then, those of us who don't use the online homeschooling. I've done both. I really, really, really would do it again, which is something that's coming up more in some of my other homeschoolers' vlogs, is that some are going back to online school for various reasons. One particular one, I can't remember her name, was basically saying, her child wanted to do something different, and I understand that. My reason why I was thinking about it, I did not sign up for it. I've already put my paperwork in with the district. As far as they know, we're doing regular homeschooling unless I change my mind. One thing that I wanted to do it for was the just to have the record keeping. And the reason why is because another thing that came up with my daughter is she actually, from me, received a homeschool diploma, but had taken part of the GED. And in Pennsylvania, by our law, I'm allowed to do that as the supervisor of the school. And I also made her transcripts, and also had all our records from the district up till that particular year before she turned 17. Actually, I think she was turning 17. So, she had an education, and most of the colleges would accept her in our general area without too much extra paperwork. What is an issue is that when we applied for financial aid, the financial aid system for Pennsylvania, not the federal, but just for Pennsylvania, had not caught up with what the new law was. I think the answer they gave me was that they were still, their practices or their policy was trying to catch up with the new law. However, it was a bad time because, we need this law to be upheld right now. What I know is, you know, that kind of argument, that kind of fight takes a while. And in the meantime, my daughter cannot just be sitting around waiting. So we continued on with our original plan, and she will be going to community college, and also working. She already has a job working for the city of Philadelphia. So she's, you know, ahead of the game on most things. So that's just my video for today. I always have a lot of stuff on my mind, but I really don't do these kind of videos that much. And that's it. This is Tinka. Oh yes, lady. And I just want to say hello to all my other homeschool moms and hope you're having a great year. Bye.